Welcome to the grand finals of the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational #1. My name is Rushy. I'm so glad to be here with you as we see who is going to come away with the lion's share of a $750 prize pool. It might be this player in the bottom right-hand corner of Ruination, playing for Aftermath Games, the Infernal player, Snoxtar. And in the top left, it could be this player, who has been on fire in this tournament, playing from Finland. This is the red Vanguard player, Mixu. I about said so many wrong words. Yes, there is another person also covering this match as well in English. Algorithm has been doing a wonderful job on the B stream. So if you want to click his link and put it in a tab, he's also doing a wonderful job. He's also another observer, so maybe he'll see some cool things happening as well in this game as we jump into this series. It's because I almost said Poland. I almost said Poland, and that would have been a problem for me. Oh, yes, finish Poland. So true. All right. So Mixu up to his normal shenanigans here at the beginning of game #1. Is the best of 7, as you can see right there. Ruination. Oh. I appreciate you guys being here with me today. Chat, we're on, what, hour 11 of some awesome Stormgate this weekend. My body will be tired, but my heart will be full of wonderful Stormgate action. So Snoxtar deciding to open up Conclave first into a fast expand. Fast expand doing some very good work. Going to give himself some decent position against an opponent in Mixu who is working on taking early camps. I think now this is going to transition into a second base as well. Oh, look at this sentry post. This isn't going to be goofy. This isn't going to be goofy at all. All right, split off here of some fiends jumping in to the base. I'm going to do a decent amount of damage here. Ooh, actually getting a bob all the way up to tier 3. This base actually is not going to be allowed to finish here. Snoxtar going to put in a decent amount of damage. Can it pick off that bob with the 3 veterancy? No, it cannot. But it has delayed this base by a significant margin. Dude, Mixu has got the high ground here. That Repair-O-Matic is repairing. Let me tell you here. So these bob veterancies are quite important. I mean, they are very impactful here. They do want to stick around and utilize the veterancy because it gets additional health. It does do additional damage, but most importantly, a 20% boost to build speed for every notch that it goes through. So this bob with 3 veterancy ticks, getting a 60% increase for build. That's crazy. Wild. And I think, what did I see? Mixu had a couple of them. Yeah, he's got one right over here. That second one was headed back home. Gonna help out here. It'd almost be beneficial to group the 2 level 3s together. Simply to provide some additional build speed. But I digress that point. Mixu's been getting a great amount of value out of these Repair-O-Matics. Having one dropped here at this Luminite Tower, going to allow for this 3rd base to be produced. The 2nd base is already done. The Vision Tower here at the top, the Luminite Tower on the northeast side of the center is all taken care of. I mean, Mixu is off to a very rapid start here in game number 1. Now, Snoxtar has not been asleep at the wheel either, but has been playing a little bit more passive. I mean, choosing to grab the health tower as quickly as possible here, grabbing some vision on the south side, which will allow a little bit of security in case Mixu wanted to come through with his large scout population. But we are up to a central command at this point. Machine Lab is done, and we're going to get Vulcans as quickly as we possibly can here. Now, these Fiends are not going to trade well against Scouts and Lancers. Those will just be dancing units, but it's going to be a Harbinger here out of Snoxtar. I actually didn't see, where's the Twilight Spire at? I never saw a Twilight Spire get built. Where did this come from? All right, I guess it doesn't matter where it came from. It just matters where it's going to go. And the back of this base is a great place for these units to get in. Now, Plague Axes are going to be available. That's going to pick off a ton of these units and provide some coverage with these Fiends. But with the Vulcan here at this point, this now becomes a very complicating position for Snoxtar to stick around. So instead, he is just going to blast off again. But the Vulcan keeps Mixu in this. This is a very, very good start here in game number 1 for Snoxtar. But it's not the end-all, be-all of the damage. Transonic rockets are going to be researched here for Mixu, who needs to continue finding a way to deal with this harassment here. This Harbinger is still able to provide a lot of damage coverage throughout the course of Mixu's base, but now Snoxtar's got to be careful. There's still a Hedgehog here that's going to be able to use anti-air damage to inflict pain onto that Harbinger, which whenever it goes down, it does refresh a little bit of its white bar health, so that's kind of a nice little play back and forth. But ultimately, we have Gaunts that will continue to find their way through. I'm still a bit perplexed. I still have not found... What am I missing? Oh, it's literally right there. Never mind. and don't mind me. I'm just being a little goofy silly. All right, the Repair-O-Matic doing a lot of work here, trying to keep everybody alive. There's already Graven as well. Wait, we got a high command? Wow, that high command went up really, really fast. Graven being added into the mix does provide for a little bit of interesting chaos here. The Snoxtar Harbinger Gaunt rush still providing a decent amount of damage. In fact, Mixu has decided he was going to try and push across the map, but I think he's having second thoughts here as this Harbinger is dealing way more damage than he was expecting. Graven not available back at home to help deal with this, so instead he's just gonna he's indecisive more than anything. That might be worse, is instead of making the wrong decision, you just make a whole bunch of indecisive decisions. Weavers are gonna be able to pull the bulk of this strong part of the army here. Snoxtar are gonna find lots of damage on these big units. Now there is a shield bubble down on the Vulcan, so that did extend its life a little bit. Shadowfall comes over the land. Mixu has not found a great way to deal with all of this damage happening in the back of his base. The Graven is finally going to clean this up, but it's going to come at the cost of the main army here in the center of the map. The floor is indeed lava as Snoxtar is able to push on forward with Spriggans in his army. He's got a spring in his step and a Spriggan in the air. Good positioning here at the outset of the third base location. I mean, if we finish cleaning this up, essentially, yes. I mean, there are a few workers remaining at this point, but now this is so much damage done here to Mixu's economy that Snoxtar is going to be able to run rampant, and any damage that gets done at this point is just icing on the cake. Mixu's going to have to tap out. This is Titans Causeway, currently up 1-0 in the series, looking to extend the lead even further towards getting that prize pool money. This is Aftermath Gaming's Snoxtar. And in the top right, his opponent, who's been flawless up to this point in this tournament, suffered his first loss. Can he rebound? This is the blue Vanguard player, Mixu. Oh, my life is different. Sometimes all you gotta do is turn on a fan, chat. Sometimes that's all you gotta do. It's all you gotta do. I do think that this is fascinating to watch Mixu utilize his bobs and his scouts in this way to take the early camps. I do think this is fascinating. Pretty cool. You think I have many fans? Aw, that's very kind. Oh, see, I want to believe that, Professor Wannabe. I want to believe that. But sometimes what doesn't kill you leaves you debilitated. Hold on a second. See what you're doing to me? You're gonna leave me sick? Ah, thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. Nah, I'm just sick over all these great games that we're getting today. So we're gonna see Mixu once again going for this buzzsaw cannon. Being able to clear out this center camp with such a small unit sacrifice, I mean, it's impressive. It's pretty good. And Snoxtar, I think, is smart to not overcommit to the center here. I mean, obviously, we watched Theory try to take advantage of that momentum in the center, only to be swatted back. Look at that sweet, sweet elk. That's a deer, actually. Look at that. It's even got like a little square for deer armor. Oh, okay. This is a nice little catch here. Getting these fiends out into the natural expand, seeing that his opponent has not had a chance to expand yet. And every second that goes by, I mean, this Bob overcharge lasts for a long time, but that is tangible damage. Because that's time lost. Oh, the Bob getting insta-veteran seed. We do have a central command here. Oh, dear is right. Okay, Fiend's going to find the Bob out in the center of the map, and that is going to stop this mech bay from producing. So that's good delay tactics here by Snoxtar, just not allowing Mixu to play his own game here. That seems to be the best way to go about this scenario, is just not allowing Mixu to play at his own speed. Now the mech bay is going to be allowed to finish up. Oh, not snapping onto that Bob is a bit of a miss. But as we know, brutes do play against lancers just a little bit more effectively. Do you see a Vulcan coming out? So we're going to try and pump this unit out, but I think this is not going to be allowed to finish. That is just going to get canceled, because the building is going to get cleared out. So Snoxtar dealing with Mixu in a slightly better fashion here. Okay, additional mech bay going to go down back at home. Mixu kind of on the back foot for what appears to be like the first or the second time in this tournament. So very, very well punished here by Snoxtar, being a little bit more patient, showing up with a decent amount of units. Yeah, waiting until the buzzsaw unit got sold as well. Very cutesy, very demure, very mindful of his unit count. Okay, instantly jumping up to a machine lab, so we will see that tech tree very, very soon. We have a third base going down here on the south side of the map. Snoxtar, what do we got? What do we got going on? I'm looking, as I say, I'm looking for the Twilight Spire. I've missed the Twilight Spire the last couple of games. Just couldn't find it. This time, we've got it located. Okay, Machine Lab is finished. I was going to say, I imagine that we're going to see that high command come into play. I wonder if this solar charge actually speeds up the high command. What do we think, chat? Because normally it gives a 25% boost. I think that actually got nerfed. It might not be at 25% anymore. But does that give a boost to the upgrade? Or is it just to production? The solar the solar model is just 2 cylinders. It's just sun. Don't think it boosts the upgrade. That's fair. Imagine though if you just had like 3 or 4 solar habitats all feeding into the one building. You just double the upgrade time, or the upgrade process, I should say. Hey, we got another Harbinger here. Very, very good stop on this third base. Snoxtar is not allowing Mixu to play at his own speed. This is going to be to Snoxtar's credit, though. It's exactly what is showing the best results against this blue Vanguard player. That would be super OP. That's all fair. I get that. All right, so the third base has been allowed to finish here for Snoxtar. We're working on that command post. It just now finishes up here. Yeah, it almost feels like Mixu is going to need a hangar bay to do what he wants to accomplish. However, Graven are going to be pretty strong. That's right. Shroud Weave is available on those Harbingers, so pretty good situation here. All in all, Mixu able to capitalize on a pretty decent defense. Is able to get a little bit of a transition down into place. Atlas are on the map now for the blue Vanguard player. Snoxtar is going to try and take advantage of the center. And there we finally see a hangar bay going down. So we will get some air units into the mix. It wouldn't surprise me to see Hornets. Ooh, some really nice Magmadon drops. We have not seen that as a composition style lately for Infernal players, but wow, this is really putting down a lot of pain. It actually cleans up the entirety of this army. This third base is now completely exposed. This might just be enough damage to call GG. I'm not sure, but Snoxtar, wow, with some very oppressive play here. He's definitely going to get that third base location. That's going to get knocked down. The Magmadon drop was not on Mixu's bingo card here in game number 2. GG. Yeah, he's going to have to tap out. Running in the bottom left. Currently up 2-0 in this series. Needs to win 2 more. He wants to win $300 in the prize pool money. This is Snoxtar for Aftermath Games. It's not me, Pog! And in the top right, our red Vanguard player. Again, looking flawless in this tournament, but struggling a little bit against his opponent. Can he clutch out game number 3? This is Mixu. No! Let me free! Hey, hold on. I have to mute my mic 1 second. Oh, my life is better. Thank you, chat. Chat, you could just tell me. Dude, this is professional. Let me tell you. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. And then I pressed the wrong button. I was sitting here talking to you guys. Can you hear me? Can you say yes if you hear me? Just let me know. No? Oh, shoot. No, maybe. Keep them guessing. My bad. Here's the good news. You didn't miss anything. I cannot see you, but I can hear you. That's fair. I didn't ask if you could see me. It'd be very scary if you could see me. All right. So, game number 3 here. Mixu going for a very, very early command post. Just keeping it easy breezy. I mean, this is such a big map that is not unrealistic for this map to be the macro map. Especially since Snoxtar has decided to go Iron Vault opening in game number 3. So the benefit that you can get from this economic opening is rather strong. I would say for sure. But now it's a matter of whether or not you're going to have enough to really deal with these fiends that are going to come on in. I mean, theoretically, this should be fine. But I don't know. I mean, this is a lot of really good harassment here by Snoxtar. I would not expect Mixu to feel very uncomfortable in this situation, but ideally, I think you want to play it safer if possible. We do already have tier 2 tech out of Mixu, who is going to get this mech bay, has a machine lab already on the way. We're at a 417 machine lab. Additional mech bay as well. I would expect to see transonic rockets off of this, which will boost the Hedgehog's range in a pretty significant way. But it is also probable that we would just see a jump up to tier 3 once this worker count is where Mixu wants it. Yeah, there's transonic rockets. So as a result, what is happening on the opposite side of the map? Snoxtar, he is a little bit low on supply. This is where things kind of get interesting. Mixu's got a 55 supply total. But it's not that he is necessarily in a strong position economically. I mean, he's got 2 bases. Oh, okay, now starting to get a 3rd base. I do like this. Using both of the Bobs that have been veteran seed to jump all the way up. So when you take a look at the situation of Snoxtar here, who is going for that Harbinger drop once again, feels like this is the way. Feels like this is the way that that you want to go and harass your opponent here, especially since it's going to pull Hedgehogs back off the map. Mixu's already up 20 supply. I mean, he's had a couple of central commands that have pumped out a sizable amount of economy, but it's not really going to translate very well into additional units. Wait, he can see that? Wait, he can see that? How did he have vision? That's crazy. Well, I mean, that's a good pickup for Mixu. Dog ability gives vision. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did hear the dog go boing. That's the sound that dogs make. Boing. Yes, the dog has a radar. That's true. That's true. The dog was driving the hog. That just sounds inappropriate. All right, it's Mixu's turn to be aggressive here. Lots and lots of hedgehogs. This might be the option that works out best for the Vanguard player. Snoxtar's going to find a lot of damage here. It does close up the supply count just a little bit. Good lashes from the Weaver to pull in some of these hedgehogs that do have their veterancy. I mean, it is a medium risk, medium reward here. If you drop your veterancy onto some of these units that are exposed, I mean, you do leave them open to being lashed. And that then creates a bigger issue because you can just slowly pick off the units that have the most value. What do we have? Oh, that's just white bar energy. Oh, that Harbinger is going to get painfully low. Not going to be able to lift in time. Okay, one more lash onto the tier 3 veterancy. Is that going to be able to survive? Oh, it does go down. Does get picked off. So Mixu still finding a lot of damage, but does give up a lot of the intangible. Behind it, though, does manage to grab tier 3. So it does have a high command. We will start seeing some additional tech coming out and some additional production. Wouldn't be surprised to see Atlas getting added into the mix. Maybe we start seeing a biokinetics lab to boost up our Lancers. I think it would be interesting to see the dog upgrade. Is Bob veterancy better than Bob overcharge? That's an interesting prospect here. All right, we got some Graven here. Snoxtar's not going to give up on this this Harbinger pressure here. Going to get in. Does a decent amount of damage. Actually picks off 5 of those workers. I mean, that's a number of fiends that are left behind, and I think that was a full. Yeah, that was full of Gauns here. So no other additional room. So 5 worker kills off of that slowdown. Very, very good. We're going to see a 4th base going down for Snoxtar as he slowly moves across the map. Harbinger is going to continue to offer some additional damage while Mixu wants to find and capitalize on some damage with not only his Graven, but his Hedgehogs as well. But this is where Snoxtar is going to continually try to punish Mixu. If your army's going to go out onto the map, Snoxtar just wants to punish your worker lines here and deal some additional damage. But I think now there is a decent amount of Graven that can leap forward and try and deal with this as effectively as possible. But it's all going to come down to what kind of damage can be done on the opposite side of the map. So one lash goes down onto a Hedgehog here. Every Hedgehog that gets cleared is in good shape. These Graven should be able to shoot up. I was going to say they absolutely do. This was not in clear vision at that point. These Gaunts will finally get picked up and dealt with effectively. This is going to be enough DPS for Snoxtar out at the sentry post here. I mean, these supplies are crazy different here. 148 to 93. You wouldn't really think that Snoxtar is in that bad of a situation given the battle that's happening in front of us. But wow, you look at those supply counts and you just feel differently. All right, some very good splits on those sticky bombs. but it is not quite enough. These Graven are going to be incredibly strong against Gaunts. Then what do you respond with? Hellborn are about the right choice as well. Molten Touch is going to be researched here. That's going to allow all of these units to get coated. I mean, Snoxtar is somehow making this game feel very, very close. But again, if you look at supply alone, does not appear to be the case. Okay, triple punch deals with one of those Graven. Graven is going to be able to shut down the base here in the lower right-hand corner. It did get canceled. There's the remains of the imp that it brought into existence. I'm actually a little surprised here. It's a lot of damage output against these Weavers. Weavers are not going to be able to stick around very long. Against these Graven, they do need some additional fight. Yeah, I think Snoxtar's finally falling apart here. I mean, 70 supply to the 200 of his opponent. Graven have huge main character energy. I do like that. That's pretty creative. What do these Graven have for a supply count? I think it's 4. So, I mean, if you've got 10 Graven, that's 40 supply. Yeah, GG is called. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Broken Crown Light. In his best of 7. He's currently 1-2. Can he win another one and even up the series? This is Mixu. And in the bottom left, it is our red infernal player. This is Snoxtar. You think this map favors Vanguard? I don't know. It's a good question. Ooh, okay. Just had to give my brain and my my voice just a tiny little break. Wow, this is actually really brave play here. Oh no, the Hexen's been cornered off. Oh god. I was just say I think. Well, actually, I think it is impossible for us to know exactly who got to that creep. It doesn't show. I mean, Mixu's just working down in the lower left on his own speed camp, but he's also trying to bully Snoxtar out of his own camp. So, very, very early mech bay. You can check the dog veterancy. Oh. I hadn't considered that. It's actually really good intel. Okay, so the scout got nothing then. So Snoxtar was able to capitalize on all of those kills. That's smart. I hadn't even considered that. So we do have a second base almost completed here for Snoxtar. That does put him in a slightly stronger economic position. Now, thankfully, there is not the back door opening just yet at this point for Snoxtar, so Mixu is not able to capitalize on pushing forward. Does have an early hedgehog, though. We'll have the tier 2 central command in just a second. Using the hedgehog to take down a Skull of Shedda. Very, very big brain play. For sure, for sure. Oh, wow. What a lash. Bringing that hedgehog all the way to the high ground. Holy cow. Lashing it a second time, but that shield is incredibly good here. Now, these units are just going to try and bully their way into that main base, but they are kind of choked up, and that does allow for a decent amount of DPS. But finally now grabbing one of those hedgehogs with a lash, that does prevent this from working. Wait a minute. You can get into that from the high ground? Okay. That is quite the interesting choice there. Very, very good use of the medtech turret that just allows for a nice little healing camp while these units are able to wail away on the front line. A couple of these Lancers are able to get away with double veterancy. They will be able to heal themselves as well when they are in a better position. The Weavers are still just scary enough. I wonder if they could lash. Yeah, I was gonna say they can, and they absolutely will. Making sure that we punch those. Sometimes you can accidentally over micro that. Second base is going to come down here, and it's going to go forward. This is actually a very advantageous position for Mixu to try and get into, and he doesn't like the spot that he's in. Snoxtar is going to have to back off and not accidentally throw his units away. But he does have a pretty decent spot to try and push in on. I mean, the Weavers can punch it down to that med station, and I think they would benefit from doing so, but obviously you want to try and deal with the units that you see on the ground in their current state. Now, the Repair-O-Matic doesn't have quite the range needed to reach down. Brutes can hit down high ground like this too. Wow, that's interesting. We do see a Hellborn here now going to start working away on this med station. Honestly, I think Mixu would just be smart to get rid of it. I don't think it's worth trying to keep anymore because there's just enough DPS to really cause problems here. But we do have one singular Vulcan going to try and do the lion's share of damage here. These Weavers are going to do a lot of damage to this Vulcan if they ever get a chance to punch them. Spending a lot of time punching out all of those Lancers, doing the bubble. Imagine that this is going to start slipping away from Mixu here, but he is managing to get a great amount of damage done, even with all of the heals here, not able to keep that Vulcan alive, being able to pull units back and forth. Snoxtar is trying his hardest to lock in and secure victory in this game. Gosh, that one Hellborn is just getting so much extra damage done on the map. It is wild to see how this is working. A very, very good pull. Grabbing one of those last hedgehogs here. Yeah, Mixu's got to tap out. GG is called this for map number 5. In the top right, on the verge of elimination, and being the second place winner. He's got to win 3 in a row if he wants the chance to win the lion's share of the prize money. Can he do it? This is Mixu. And in the bottom left, one win away, one map away from claiming 40% of this prize pool and being crowned the champion of the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational number 1. This is Snoxtar for Aftermath Gaming. Y'all ready for this? I don't want to do any more than that because I'll get content ID'd. Don't want to do that. Yo, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. I know the ads are not everybody's favorite thing, but I appreciate you supporting me. Also, running those ads allows people to jump into this stream without having to get ads instantly. And I know that that can be really deflating if you're wanting to come check out an event and you instantly have to watch 3 minutes worth of ads. That sucks. Not fun. So that's the opportunity I have to mitigate that. So I appreciate all the support. You guys are wonderful, awesome human beings. And I don't deserve you. But here we are trying to set up our final potential game for Snoxtar at least. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say this is dog versus hog at this point. Dude, the Felhogs do a decent amount of DPS. I'm not gonna lie. All right. So Mixu's going to try and utilize the Repair-O-Matic here in the bottom right-hand corner once again. Did Mixu get this camp? No, Mixu did not get this camp. I went to Snoxtar in the blue. But Mixu's going to try and grab these camps in the lower right-hand corner, which should not be incredibly surprising to his opponent. Mostly because this is exactly what Mixu has done in all of his previous games. Now, Snoxtar is going to choose, instead of going for a third base, oh, you think he got a last hit off? I know you would get experience from the Felhogs as well, but no, it is possible. It is possible I missed it. Okay, Fiend's going to try and jump up here and actually get a decent amount of damage done off of these units here in the top. Now, Lancer does manage to lock things up at the very end. But Mixer's going to get a decent amount of resources off of this pull. So getting the Therium Tower and the Luminite Tower in the lower right-hand corner, very, very advantageous. It's going to allow him to pick up that central command in his main base and kind of shift things forward into that normal back bay play. Now, the thing that I'm noticing in all of this is that we have maps where the Vanguard player is able to kind of spread out and do what he wants to do early game and not really be bullied by Snoxtar in any capacity, and that is allowing for Mixu to really secure himself and do some nice things in these later stages of the game. It is just fascinating. It's interesting. Snoxtar is actually supply blocked off of losing that meat farm. So a little bit of a tricky play there. It is going to be another Harbinger drop once again. I believe this scout actually saw it. So I don't know if it's going to come with the same surprise appeal as it otherwise would in a different capacity, but it's still going to go for it. I mean, I think that's smart. There was an imp that was all the way up here. Maybe he thought about taking this third base. It would be admittedly a little strange. I suppose it is out of the way, but I also don't think that it is so outlandish to try and scout up here if you're looking for an additional base. So we're going to have to see what can take shape here because Snoxtar is on 2 base. So this is a very vulnerable moment for him. He's going to have to find some major damage with this Harbinger drop up in the main base. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, Mixu trying to find a 3rd base here that just actually doesn't exist right now. The Repair-O-Matic doing so much protection back at home, keeping so many of these units alive. Snoxtar not able to capitalize on the infested units being picked off and then spawning fiends to create additional DPS. So it wouldn't surprise me if Snoxtar just drops right on the Repair-O-Matic to find some additional damage. I do like the addition of Magmadons here for our Infernal player, mostly because without any sort of exos on the map, there really isn't a whole lot that is going to pressure this Magmadon because these will be very, very strong, not only against scouts, but mostly against the Lancers. And the Lancers right now are kind of the scary part of this army. Hedgehogs are good, don't get me wrong, and the Hedgehogs will deal a decent amount of damage because they do bonus damage to heavy units. But once the Lancers are removed from the army composition, these Hedgehogs don't have a whole lot of ground to stand on. Feels like Snoxtar had a big meal between games. That's fair. All right, so currently working up to a high command right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Graven added into the mix. We are going to see some Sentinels brought in as well. If I remember correctly, there was one Hornet on the production tab. I don't know where that Hornet ended up. Doesn't appear to be harassing on the opposite side of the map. But here we go. Snoxtar is going to try and put some pressure on this 3rd base location. The army is a bit out of position, but I don't think it'll take very long for those to get back home. Trying to keep this buzzsaw cannon alive as long as humanly possible here. They are successful in their journey, but will they be successful in their cause? The Gaunts do need to turn around here and try and deal a little bit of damage to those Hedgehogs. If left unchecked, those Hedgehogs are going to find a lot of damage, and they do get sectioned off. These Magmadons are incredibly strong here, dealing so much economic damage, killing off a decent amount of Bobs here. Snoxtar in a pretty good spot here, not entirely out just yet. Needs to find some extended damage if he would like to equalize this moment, because he does have a ton of economy at his 3rd base, but right now putting some damage onto the barracks, utilizing these Shadow Flyers to find some additional damage. Sentinels are not going to be able to get anywhere close to the fight here. Losing this 3rd base might actually be huge for Snoxtar. The damage that he's looking for, Graven only now starting to pop out, but it's too little too late. That 3rd base is going to go down. He has to make sure not to overextend at this point. Mixu does have a supply advantage, but a lot of these units are weak, and they are a little bit out of position as well. A good stasis drone keeps that Harbinger from dropping down. These Magmadons do have Demon Hoof Tremors, so these units will be stunned if they get knocked into, and that is exactly what has happened here. They've kind of gotten bullied into the back corner. These Magmadons are starting to get wiggled away. Another stasis drone locks a Magmadon into place, but I think that's just going to buy time for Snoxtar here because it didn't have a stun available anyways, and it can't have any damage dealt to it while it's inside. There's so much damage happening right now. One of those Sentinels does get picked off. A beautiful damage animation. That's very, very crazy. Magmadon going to try and sneak in a little bit of damage here before it does get picked off. Mixu has to tap out. Snoxtar has secured the victory. It's over. GG is called, and Snoxtar is the victor of today's tournament. GG well played.